And welcome into this edition of ACAP Today for the early part of December 2023. I'm Jason Parent with the Aroostook County Action Program. On this week's edition of ACAP Today, we're going to talk with three members of ACAP's housing team about our weatherization work here in Aroostook County, what the process is, how to go about becoming a weatherized home in Aroostook County, and what some new funding, some infrastructure funding that was passed by the federal government in recent years will mean for that program. We're going to talk to three of those folks in just a little bit, but before we do that, we're first going to get to the news and information that you can use for, again, the first half of December 2023. And we begin in the news and information that you can use with this is also the season for coverme.gov or accessing open enrollment through the affordable healthcare coverage for the state of Maine. ACAP is once again providing those navigation services. We provide them year-round for folks with qualifying incidents that allow them to enter the coverme.gov marketplace. But this is the time of year where folks can make changes to their enrollment, also make changes to their coverage, and select a new provider perhaps or a different plan. Now that open enrollment period is currently underway and it will continue through the 15th of January. If you have any questions regarding your coverage or need assistance with enrolling for the first time and what those options might be for you, you can give us a call here at 764-3721 or email us at info@acap-me.org and we'll schedule some time to sit down with you either in person or remotely using video technology or over the phone to help you make the best and most informed choices as it relates to coverme.gov and affordable healthcare coverage. We are also talking about this program, which some of our guests know a lot about, but this is a program that is offered the Heat Pump Water Heater Incentive Program. It is not a program offered specifically through ACAP. Actually, it's an Efficiency Maine program, and it's a specific program for qualified low-income households. At least one of the household participants must be in either the Home Energy Assistance Program, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families Program, or Maine Care. Now, these qualified moderate to moderate income households also may be eligible with elevated rebates based on the federal adjusted gross income. That up to $70,000 for an individual filing as single and head of household or married filing separately, or $100,000 if married filing jointly. Best place to go for more information is on the efficiencymaine.com website, which the address there is located at the bottom of your screen. You can either take that address down as it is or navigate to the Heat Pump Water Heater Program for more information on that program. Again, not a program of ACAP, but one that we wanted to make you aware of as it could be beneficial to your household. We are also talking about a partnership with Safer Schools and Communities and the work that is happening statewide as it relates to this, and a special event that we are offering here at ACAP early in the month of December. This is going to be held on the 5th and 6th of December from 9 to 3 both days at our Customer Service Center at 771 Main Street in Presque Isle. It's a training to learn how to bring a curriculum to the community related to safer schools and communities, specifically connecting folks with a curriculum that gives others who are doing similar work the opportunity to partner together and to come together for a conversation. We are encouraging folks who might be interested, school officials and others, who would like to specifically focus on helping middle school boys navigate conversations in situations about gender and male violence towards self and others. This is an important conversation and one that we are holding here at ACAP's Customer Service Center in Presque Isle, again, the 5th and 6th of December. You can register online. The QR code is there on your screen, or you can give us a call here at ACAP and we can connect you with the organization that is doing the registration for this particular session. We are providing the host site in partnership as it relates to that. We are also continuing to remind folks as we head into the thick of the heating season here in Aroostook County that the Home Energy Assistance Program is available to provide households with assistance for their heating costs. Again, this is a supplemental program not intended to cover the entirety of the heating burden for the season. But the income eligibility guidelines are there on your screen. We must indicate with you that the benefit award is much less than it has been in recent years. It's sort of returned to pre-pandemic levels. So It's not as robust as it has been over the past few years anyway. Again, if you are not exactly underneath the income eligibility guidelines or at the income eligibility guidelines listed on your screen, but somewhat close, please do give us a call, because there are deductions such as medical expenses, out-of-pocket medical expenses specifically, that we can look at. And we encourage you to give us a call to see if you might be eligible. We are scheduling out a bit at this point right now, as we are getting a number of emergency calls in the morning. So please do consider applying to get an appointment early on in the process here, as we are scheduling a few weeks or several weeks out at this point. And it does take several weeks also to have the certification happen for that. So please plan accordingly as it relates to the Home Energy Assistance Program. The Homeowner Assistance Fund is also a program that is not specifically of ACAP, but that ACAP helps navigate individuals to. If you are having a difficulty paying some of your household expenses, specifically things like mortgage payment, homeowners insurance, property taxes, utilities, fuel, or even broadband internet service bills, we do have a program for that separately, which I'll talk about in just a moment. And you've experienced that hardship between the 21st of January of 2020 or financial hardships after the 1st of January 2020, please do give us a call here. You have had to own your home, I should say, prior to January 21, 2020, and have experienced financial hardships after the 1st of January 2020. Please do give us a call here. You see the income eligibility guidelines. We can help you navigate to this program and complete the application online. You can go directly to mainhomeownerhelp.org if you'd like to begin to navigate that process and apply and complete the application directly online yourself as well. We are also continuing to remind our community members as we head into cold and flu season that COVID-19 is still very much among us. The federal government has reinstituted the free at-home COVID test that can come directly to you in the mail. The website to go to is covidtest.gov. Please do go there and get some tests in advance of when you might need them, so they will be available and in stock in your household. And we are also continuing to put the call out there for volunteers who would like to make a difference and help households prepare their income taxes in the coming year for the year that we are currently in. The program will start in earnest in February, but we are seeking volunteers now to go through the training process and prepare accordingly for the season. If you would like to sign up to help volunteer or want more information about this program, we will train you, and it's not as complicated as it might sound. Please do give us a call, 532-5371, or email us at info@acap-me.org, and we'll gladly get back to you about this year's Cash Maine program that we are working collaboratively with New Ventures Maine and others here in Aroostook County. And finally, also not finally yet, but wanted to share again that we are continuing to offer free prenatal vitamins to women of childbearing age here in Aroostook County. If you have a need for these and are interested, if you're considering having a child or are pregnant and are looking for this resource at no charge, please give us a call at 764-3721 or email us at info@acap-me.org. This is a partnership with the Vitamin Angels program, and we'll be also talking more about a free diaper program that we'll be launching in 2024 on a future edition of ACAP Today, which is a nice complement to this partnership with Vitamin Angels. And also, I mentioned earlier that the FCC Affordable Connectivity Program is one that ACAP continues to be a pathway toward and help offer for folks. If you are looking for help to be able to afford your internet bill, to be able to be online, to be connected, you can call us here at the agency and we will help you get connected with the FCC Affordable Connectivity Program, which provides discounts toward your internet bill. Or you can go to getinternet.gov if you want more information on this program. And finally, if you are in need of any assistance at this time that we haven't necessarily mentioned in this news segment, you can certainly give us a call here at ACAP. We do have navigators that help individuals do just that, navigate programs and services, whether they're in our agency or outside of our agency. So please do consider giving us a call if you are struggling with any needs at all at this time. And that's the news and information that you can use again for the early half of December 2023. I'm so pleased now to welcome 3 members of ACAP's housing team as our guests on this edition of ACAP Today. They are Christine Briscarino. I hope I got that right, Christine.
Yes.
BJ Esty and Melissa Runchi, all again from our housing team. And we're going to talk about weatherization today, a very timely topic for many folks who have turned up their thermostats and are into the heating season. We're well into the heating season, as we know here in Aroostook County, and there's a lot more to come. So weatherization is a hot topic, pun intended there. Christine, I'm going to start with you to sort of help folks get grounded on what ACAP's weatherization services are about and how we access them and how that process all happens and begins.
Yes, of course, Jason. So everyone that currently receives heating assistance is eligible for weatherization services. You can call into our office. I receive referrals. You can come into our office. We can sit down, fill out a questionnaire, ask the few questions about your home and what kind of needs you're looking for. And then I give the information to the energy auditors to make the process a little more smoother, and they would contact you um, to find out more information.
Awesome. Now I want to go over because there's sort of there's a science to this in addition to the science of doing the weatherization. So before I move on to BJ to talk about what happens with the energy auditing, I do want, and we have a slide here that I want to bring up that talks about how people get prioritized and put on the list to get weatherization. Not sure who the best person is to speak about that. Maybe it's you, Melissa, or Christine, but I'll bring up the slide. And so if you, the person who's prepared to speak to that would like to narrate that, that would be most helpful to us.
I can
Certainly.
do that,
So
Jason, or Christine can do it.
oh, sorry. So we do prioritize for those that are elderly that have 60 years of age or older, or with households of children 6 and under. We prioritize for those with high energy burdens and households that have disabilities.
So Melissa, if you want to maybe pick up on that a little bit, because that sort of defines, it's not in some cases like we've talked about on this program before, where we have a program for heat pumps. It's sort of a first call, first serve basis. That's not necessarily the case with this. And I think that that's important that people understand how this WAP, weatherization assistance program ranking, how it is calculated and how it shifts and fluctuates from time to time.
Yeah, absolutely. So the purpose of the prioritization kind of rank is really to kind of get the people that are most in need first. And of course, that's going to be elderly, people with disabilities, households with young children in it. So, and this is not to say that we wouldn't be able to weatherize a home for someone that doesn't have young children. This is just the priority. So, the high energy costs is a big thing. 2/3 of low income households have a high energy burden. They spend more than 6% of their income on utility bills, which is too much. So, we really want to try to hit the people that are spending the most money on utilities, that have the lowest income and really need it the most. But we're also allowed with this program as well to, if we have determined that somebody has a very high prioritization score, and there's somebody else in that same neighborhood that maybe doesn't have as high of a score, in the interest of saving time and money for our contractors and for us, we can actually do multiple homes in the same house, in the same neighborhood as well.
Well, that's good to know, and I think that's a very efficient way of looking at the process. BJ, what Christine mentioned, once that process has gone through, and what Melissa sort of underscored there for us, and households, it's determined that this household is now up for a weatherization. Your team sort of takes it from there and continues that process, working collaboratively with the household. Talk about how that works.
Yeah, sure thing. So once a client is eligible for weatherization, Christina, like she said, will reach out, do a questionnaire over the phone with them, getting some information from the client on the home, what they know of it, if possible. Then it comes to the auditors. What the auditors will do is reach back out to the client, ask them a few more questions in more detail about the home. We'll schedule a time, run the client's schedule to go to their home, to do a home visit and assessment, an energy audit. First thing we do is we have a a form, what we call a bundle. And it's basically a consent form and more details of the program. We'll sit down with the client in their home, go over the program in more detail and explain it out to them. Once everything is approved by the client and we have the consent form signed by the client, we then do a complete walkthrough with the client in the home so they have a chance to show us any issues that they're having, whether if it's lack of insulation, lack of air sealing. We're checking for health and safety issues such as fire and electrical hazards, mold, mildew. And then we start doing a complete energy audit. And what that consists of is measurements of the house and size, windows, doors. We have to take a lot of different information, different air testing we have to do. We do a combustion test on their furnace or heating system. Once all the information is gathered, and we bring it back to the office, implement it into the computer system for main housing. And with that information, it'll calculate everything out for us and determine whether we can go back and hopefully insulate and air seal their home for them. One thing to keep in mind, we cover all of Aroostook County. So we have a lot of clients. I do ask the clients to be patient. We will get to them eventually. We do have a couple of new auditors that just started. They just got trained for it. It is quite a process to get your certifications to be able to do the auditing. We've had, a little hiccup over the few months, but we're getting back on our feet a little bit. So we're going to be pounding out a lot more audits here pretty quickly and get things rolling again. We do weatherization year round. So there's no stall for weather throughout the winter months. Once we get the information in the system and we are able to do a job, if we can, I'll reach back out to the client and talk to them on the phone, offer them the weatherization project if we can do it. Let them decide. They don't have to decide immediately. Sometimes they think about it and get back to us within a week or so, and sometimes it's immediate on the phone. Once a job is determined, we'll then do up a work order, send it out to the contractor. Contractor reviews the work order and approves it. We'll then meet with the contractor at the client's home to do a walkthrough. Gives the contractor and the client a chance to meet each other, and then we'll work around the client's schedule with the contractor to go back in and do the weatherization work. Generally, it takes them on average 2, maybe 3 days to complete all the work. Of course, every job is a little bit different. Mainly, we're looking at installing or adding more insulation to the attic, insulation to the basement, doing the air sealing around windows and doors, and whatever we can to, help keep that home at a better, more feasible rate, and make it healthier for the client to stay in. We also, on every job, we also install new smoke and carbon monoxide detectors, regardless, whether the client already has them or not. Hopefully they do, but we always add more as part of the program. Once the job's complete by the contractor will reach back out to us, and we'll go in and do another final inspection. And what that entails is basically, it's very similar to the initial audit, but we're looking at the measures and the job that the contractor completed, and make sure it meets all main housing standards for the weatherization program. And once that's complete, we'll sign off on it. And the job is complete. We're out of the client's home and out of their hair. One stipulation with the main housing is once the job is complete, if the homeowner happens to sell their house within that first 1-year period of job completion, they may be required by main housing to pay back a certain percentage of the job. Once that 1-year period is gone, the job's completely the client's.
considered completed. Yeah, absolutely. Now, I noticed in there, you did say, once you go out to the home, there are circumstances, as heartbreaking as they are, where a household is up on the list and you go to the home and for whatever reason, you are unable to do a job at that particular point. In some cases, because of the condition of the home, and we know that we do have an older housing stock here in Aroostook County, but just to help folks process and understand, what are some things that were restricted through the regulations in the program that we work with about related to conditions of home or other circumstances that might mean, even if it's technically you're up in the WAP ranking, if you will, we talked about a bit ago, that would preclude that work from being done at that time.
Of course. One instance, if there's structural issues, if there's major structural issues, for instance, in a basement, basement wall is caving in. It's very expensive to come in and get a contractor to come in and repair that. We have other programs that can assist that, but there is a certain budget that we can only work with. And if that instant exceeds that limit, then we can't unfortunately do anything. Mold and mildew, that's another issue that we look for and can assist with. If there's mold and mildew existing in the home, and if it's more than 10 square feet in existence, and unfortunately we can't do anything. Electrical hazards, if there's major fire hazards, we've seen some homes that have had a lot of pest issues. If there's some major holes in an exterior wall or in a flooring, there's a lot of factors that could bump them out of the program, unfortunately. We do have, like I mentioned, other programs that can assist and hopefully help out with those issues, and then we can come back and possibly weatherize it.
And certainly, BJ, those decisions are not arbitrary. Those are decisions that are based upon limitations within the program that we have to abide by, correct?
Yes, correct. Yes.
So I want to come back to you in a bit and talk about the difference made, because it is a pretty exhaustive effort and process in weatherizing the home. It's considerable, from health and safety. You mentioned the installation of smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors, but there's a lot of work that goes into it, and there's an anticipated result. And I know that your team goes back into the home for that. But before we get into the result part of it, I want to switch over to Melissa Runche a little bit to talk about her efforts and her understanding of what we've been hearing about through this bipartisan infrastructure law that was passed by Congress. It's been a couple of years now already, but part of that bill, Melissa, as I understand it, had additional funding to do weatherization nationwide, and of course, including here in Aroostook County. So help us understand what the impact of what's being referred to as bill will be on weatherization in Aroostook County.
Sure. And then I also just quickly wanted to touch back on what BJ was saying. We do have some funds that are called weatherization readiness funds. And depending on the scope of work and the price, we may be able to do some repairs to make the home weatherization ready. It really depends on what they are. And also, if for some reason we can't fix the home, we always send out a form that says the reasons that we deferred it, and deferred means, we can't weatherize it. And we tell you exactly what it is that you need to do to get that resolved if we can't do it, along with some additional resources that might help you as well.
Great information to know. Thanks.
The bipartisan infrastructure law, I believe it was over $300 billion that was given for all sorts of different projects, roads and bridges and all of that. Well, they invested $3.5 billion into weatherization only throughout the entire country. They've really identified that weatherization is incredibly important. And ACAP received enough of that money to weatherize over 200 homes in a 4-year period. But there are certain benchmarks that everybody needs to hit in order to get even more money after 2 years. So we'd really like to push for that. All of Maine would get even more money to weatherize even more homes. And this is all on top of the weatherization money that we already have for the program. This program has been going on for decades through ACAP, the weatherization program. So we have not only the bipartisan infrastructure law money, but we also have our regular weatherization money. And it's also created jobs. Like BJ mentioned, we were able to hire 2 additional energy auditors that previously weren't hired them from outside of the agency. So it's a wonderful program that we're really looking forward to getting through.
And we accomplished that working in partnership with local private enterprises, contractors in particular. Talk about that part of the initiative.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we are looking for more contractors if anybody is looking to work with us. We have contractors all over Aroostook County that just do an incredible job weatherizing these homes. I mean, they can go in and do a job in a weekend sometimes. It's really a quick process. They've been doing this for years. Two in particular have been with us for over 20 years. And yeah, we're really lucky to have them.
Now, Christine, I know that you are the front line. You're on the phone taking the calls. What Melissa just spoke about in terms of additional homes that we're going to be able to weatherize over the next 4 years, you definitely hear and feel the need for that every day, answering the calls and greeting customers, don't you?
Yes, I do. Every person has a different story. Every person's home is in a different situation, and we want to help as many houses as we can, and we try to make that happen.
And BJ, when you go in and do this extensive work, I mean, I've had the opportunity to visit some of the homes of the work that you working with contractors and other members of our team prior to you have done in homes. The stories that the customers tell me about the difference of how they are able to not have to have layers upon layers in their home, and they're no longer worried about freezing in their homes. It's quite inspiring. And there is a science to that. You talked about the science that happens sort of before to help determine how you're going to winterize, weatherize the home. But you go back at the end of the work after the contractor's done their part and make sure that that has achieved its desired effect, correct?
Yes, correct. Excuse me. Once the job's complete, obviously we do go back and do a final inspection. We want to make sure that the contractor did exactly what the work order stated, and that the weatherization job meets all main housing standards before we sign off on it. And also our number one goal is make sure the client is satisfied and happy with the outcome. Obviously we're here to help the client as much as possible. Unfortunately, we can't help everybody. Wish we could. I've had many houses I've been into and I've had to walk away, unfortunately. Either we just financially we could not help them, or their problems exceeded what we could help them with. Like Melissa said, we refer them to other programs and resources around the county that could possibly help them. But unfortunately, it's up to the client to reach out from that point. That's the worst heartbreaking point of it, is to walk away and not help somebody.
And Melissa, as it relates to that, there is the option of having folks who are finding themselves in that situation, and when BJ and his team members have gone into a home and it's just really sort of beyond the point of the ability for us to do the work in. We can also work as an agency connecting them with navigators on our team to talk about alternative housing resources that might be available to them and helping them connect with those, correct?
Oh, absolutely. We have a lot of different resources here at ACAP, and we always try to work with the other programs within the ACAP umbrella to make sure that these households are getting all of the assistance that we can provide for them.
And BJ, it also, I mean, we talk about the people are more warm and they're more safe in their homes after the weatherization that you've done. There's also a cost savings, or at least a savings in consumption of fuel, with the hopeful cost coming with the price of fuel not going up as high as it would to offset necessarily any savings from one season to the next. But there is typically, if their folks are on oil, they see a lower utilization in the fall, a season following a weatherization, correct?
Absolutely. Our main goal is to obviously insulate their home to up to code. And it depends on region and where you live in the country. In this region up here, most attics require at least an R49 to R60 R value. A lot of homes we go into, older homes in particular, they have no insulation whatsoever. They may have old sawdust or shavings in their attics. Any insulation does help, but we definitely, our goal is to get it up to code and up to standards. Try to air seal the house as much as possible. And like you mentioned, and overall, our goal is to help them save money, keep them in their house as long as possible, keep them warm and safe. That's our overall achievement. And pretty much every job, that's what we can do. With the programs that we have to go by and the standards that we have to follow through Maine Housing, we have a certain, like I mentioned before, once I gather all the information out in the field on an audit and bring it back and put it into a computer system, we have to meet that savings to investment ratio, and we have to meet that number before we're allowed to go back and do a job. But overall, our goal is to help as much as possible and keep the client safe and warm in their homes.
And I know that both you and your crew, BJ, and certainly Christine, being again the person on the front lines, as you will, answering the phone, sometimes opening some very heartfelt letters or cards that come from customers. Folks who do get this work done are very appreciative. Are they, Christine and BJ, from your experience?
Yes, they are. They're very appreciative of the work that we're able to do for them.
Yeah, most definitely. I've had clients reach out after the job's complete, send cards, phone calls thanking us. And that's what means the most to you. When you can leave a home and the client's happy and they're shaking your hand, following you right out to your vehicle, and they can't say enough about the program and enough about the agency. That's what means the most.
It's when you know you've made a difference in someone's life, and you three certainly are doing that every day through this program. And I know that sometimes it's heartbreaking and gut-wrenching when we can't do more, and certainly more needs to be done. But the work that you do is outstanding, and the care that you take for customers is exceptional. So I appreciate that. And want to just give you the opportunity to say, if we've not talked about something that we want to make sure we get across to folks about our weatherization work, about the effort, about the commitment and contact that folks make with us to make this program happen. I'm going to go sort of back through the group here. I'll start with you, Christine, go on to BJ, and let Melissa have the last word. So Christine, anything we haven't talked about from your experience, your point in the process that you want to make sure people understand, or anything you'd like to add?
Just like to add that if you are interested in weatherization services, stop by or give us a call, and we can get the process started to see if you are qualified.
And BJ, I'm sure that goes the same for any contractors out there who might be interested in doing some of this work, and also anything else you'd like to add.
Absolutely. If anyone, contractors, clients, anybody has any questions, concerns, please reach out to us. We'd be more than happy to talk to you and hopefully steer you in the right direction. And like I said, please be patient with us. We have hundreds of clients. We cover the whole county. So we're kind of stretched thin, but we'll do everything we can to help you out.
And Melissa, what have we left on the cutting room floor that you want to make sure we get out there to folks?
Oh, I just want to thank all of our customers for giving us the trust to let us in your home and let us perform this work in your home. And, we really are looking to make a difference and lower your utility bills.
And also, I would say that I think collectively want to let folks know, to go back to the beginning of what Christine indicated, is that the weatherization program, sort of the gateway to the weatherization program, is the home energy assistance program. So if you're out there thinking, gosh, my home could use this weatherization work, please do consider applying for the home energy assistance program, because that's how you become qualified for this program. And it's important that we sort of end off reminding folks of that, because it's the gateway program, if you will, to getting into this program. So want to encourage folks to do that if they haven't done so already, and to please know that especially individuals who maybe didn't qualify for the home energy assistance program, they were working all their lives and the income has changed as a result of retirement, there is absolutely no shame in applying for the Home Energy Assistance Program. It is a safety net program for seniors in particular who are in our community, who did work throughout their lifetime and are now finding themselves with the cost of energy and cost of living at a point where that assistance could be helpful and certainly help you to be more safe and warm in your home moving forward if a weatherization project is to come your way. So please do consider starting the process that way now if you are interested. So with that, I want to thank our three guests, Christine, BJ, and Melissa, for joining us on this edition of ACAP today, for your patience in us getting started with this edition, because it came a lot later than I think we had all thought it would, and that was my fault. But thank you so much. Before we leave you and before we leave our viewers out there, we're going to do what we always do at this point, and that is bring to you our highlight snapshot. And we have not one, but two, because we had an abundance of generosity through the Thanksgiving season. Amongst that generosity was from Acme Monaco in Presque Isle and from Andy's IGA in Holton. Both of these businesses donated complete turkey dinner boxes that were distributed to local families in need in advance of the Thanksgiving season. And I know that we have others who do the same at the Christmas season, and want to thank them for their generosity, the employees, the owners of these two businesses for their outpouring of generosity. And for those who are considering doing that at Christmas, certainly encourage it. We know families that are in need, and we can certainly connect those dinners, the food items, gifts, whatever you'd like, to those in need. So thank you again, Acme Monaco and Andy's IGA, for being our highlight snapshot and for your generosity in the holiday season. And again, thank you to all of you for joining us. We'll be back in the latter half of December with another edition of ACAP Today. Until then, have a great couple of weeks, everyone, and enjoy the early holiday festivities. Have a great week.